Hi, everybody. This should hopefully be the last update before your AP exam, although if anything big comes up, I will definitely post a new video. But we are getting close to those final exams happening starting next week, Monday. So I hope you're all getting excited and not nervous because you guys have this. I know you do. I am going to walk you through a couple of key pieces of information. I'm going to try to talk fast so that this video doesn't get super long. So the agenda is again talking about e-tickets, Chromebooks, and some other questions that have come up. We're going to take a look at how to prepare for the exam, what happens during exam day, what happens if something goes wrong, and then some accommodations. So for our e-tickets, Chromebooks, and other questions, first of all, with the e-tickets, there are a few things that people have asked about, and that is your email address. The e-ticket is going to be sent to whatever email address is listed in your myap.collegeboard account. You can use the little 9-dot waffle to switch from your school account to another email account, or you can just go into your myap.collegeboard account and access your e-ticket there. So there's no reason for you to stress if your e-ticket is going to an email account that is not your school account. You can just log into myap.collegeboard and get your e-ticket there. So there's no reason to stress if it's not the same. Don't forward that email onto another email account, and we'll talk about that in a second. You should have all gotten an exam confirmation email on May 4th, which should have your AP ID on it and a list of the exams you're registered for. If it says that you are registered for an exam that you have since dropped, please know that there's nothing that I could do about that. You are going to get an e-ticket for that exam. Just ignore it. Don't click on it. Don't open it. If you open it, I have to charge you for that. So it probably has you listed as taking an exam that you maybe have since dropped, but we just can't change that. So don't worry. If you are not seeing an exam listed that you think you're registered for, then you need to reach out to me right away because I probably didn't order an exam for you for a number of reasons. And that means that we can't take the exam. So I just want to make sure that everyone is clear on that. And then again, you should get that e-ticket 2 days before the exam. So if your exam is Monday, you should get your e-ticket on Saturday. So you want to be looking 2 days in advance. And again, it will also show up in your myap.collegeboard account. A couple other things that have come up. Chromebooks. Your Chromebook will work for all of the exams except for world languages, and I also probably should have put in there the music theory test. So if you're hearing rumors that your Chromebook won't work for your AP exams, that is not true. It will, again, unless you are taking a music theory exam or a world languages exam. If you are taking the world languages exam, you need to, and or the music theory exam, you need to have a smartphone or a tablet, and you need to be reaching out to me right away if you don't have access to either of those. Other things is be comfortable with whatever device you are using. So hopefully you're used to using your Chromebook. If you've decided to use a computer at home that's not your Chromebook, just make sure that you are familiar with all the different shortcuts and all those kinds of things on it. And you also want to make sure that they are plugged in and working properly. No offense, but high schoolers are very prone to being like, oh, I forgot to charge my Chromebook overnight. And then they're dead. So you want to make sure you have that charger out. You want to make sure that it's charged and that you're ready to go before your exam, because you would hate for something to happen where like you ran out of power partway through your exam. That would be bad. A couple other questions that have come up is about, can I forward my e-ticket from my home email address to my school email address? At this point, I'm going to say no. I have asked that question to College Board and haven't gotten a response yet, but I would say no, just because they may think that you are trying to give your e-ticket to someone else, aka trying to cheat, and we want to make sure that that doesn't happen. You also want to make sure that you've saved that e-ticket just in case something goes wrong. You'll have 48 hours to submit a makeup request if something goes wrong, and you'll need to have that e-ticket in order to do that. The last thing that I've been asked about is if you are like a twin or if you have a sibling that is also taking the same exam as you, You definitely want to try to be in different rooms just to avoid any chance of hearing someone else talk or seeing answers or any of those kinds of things. Also, make sure that you are not sharing any resources with anybody else. So just try to be in a different room and make sure that you have all of your own resources with you. One of the other questions that we've been asked is if there's like a limit to the number of 3, 4s, or 5s that the College Board will give out. And the answer is no. They don't grade on a curve. So if for some reason everyone earned a 5, they would give out all of those 5s. Now, that won't happen, but I mean, that's how that works. It's whatever points you earn go into whatever category of a 3, a 4, a 5, or whatever score you get. And so it's not like there's a limit on the number of 3s that they're going to give. The other big thing is that you don't have to complete all parts of the question or questions, depending on which exam you're taking, in order for you to earn a 5 or whatever other score. So don't freak out if you don't get a chance to finish all the different parts to the question. That's okay. You can still earn a 5 or a 3 or a 4, even if you don't finish. And remember that if it's a really difficult question, that it will require fewer points in order to get that 3, 4, or 5. So again, don't freak out if it seems like it's a really hard question. That just means they're going to require fewer points for that. So those were some of the questions that have been asked. So today we want to focus on preparing for the exam and then the actual exam day. So we've kind of started through this process where we've asked you to review your contact information. We've asked you to check your technology, and we'll do that again. We've asked you to practice the demo, and again, I'll ask you to do that again. Today we'll talk about what do you need for the exam, and then making sure that you've received that exam confirmation and e-ticket. So we'll kind of walk through all of those and finish out the rest of this today. So you should have tried the demo. If not, click on the demo link and you will be able to practice that demo. The best thing is that it helps you make sure that your technology will actually work on exam day. The password can be any 8 characters, but practice is a really good password. Password would also be a really good password in order to get access to that exam. So any 8 characters will do. Just make sure that you are trying that demo so that you're familiar with what the test will look like. And again, that you have practiced submitting those responses through the demo. World language students, you can access your more personal demo of what the world languages exam is going to look like starting on May 11th. So that app will be out starting May 11th. And so you will need to download the AP World Languages Exam app. So that is exactly what you would just type in and find that app. And again, if you have any problems, reach out and I'll help you. You need to decide on your tech. So you need to make sure that you have a browser that works. Do not use Internet Explorer. So Chrome through your Chromebook is probably the best browser that you can choose. Make sure that you are used to using your device. So again, you should be used to using your Chromebook if you're using a device at home, a laptop of your parents or a home desktop or whatever. Just make sure that you're really familiar with that. And then you also need to decide if you are going to type out your answers or write out your answers. And we'll walk through what that'll look like and what you should choose to do. If you are going to type out your answers, you want to decide if you are going to use Google Docs or Microsoft Word. Either way, you again just need to be familiar with it. You also need to remember that if you are going to attach a document of your written out work, it must be in the .doc, .docx, .pdf, .txt. Those are the only acceptable endings that you can use when you're attaching a document, which is why I'm going to talk about using copying and pasting. I think it's way easier. You also want to make sure that you have this ready to go the day of your exam. So you can go ahead and make that Google Doc and do something like, and have it saved as like over here where it says AP Biology question 1.docx. and AP Biology question 2.docx. So you want to make sure that you have your questions labeled so that there's no confusion later on when you are submitting answers. If you are going to handwrite your answers, you want to make sure that you have white paper. If you are going to use a pencil, it must be a number 2 pencil, and you must write heavy so that it comes out nice and dark. Otherwise, if you're going to use ink, use a blue or black pen, again, so that it comes out nice and heavy and dark so that when you take a picture and upload it, everything will show. It cannot be more than 5 pages. So if you are writing out an answer, it cannot be more than 5 pages per question. And you want to make sure that you have your AP number, your initials, and your page number at the top of each and every page. And I would have all of those made in advance so that they're ready to go the day of your test, and you can just work your way through it so that you don't have to stop, write your AP number, your initials, and then number the page. Just have all of that ready to go. And again, it can't be more than 5 pages. And it shouldn't be. 1 to 2 pages, I think, is kind of what they have talked about to make sure that it's being fully answered. But if you write big and you go into pages 3 and 4 and 5, fine. If you write really small and you're using 5 pages, though, that's crazy, especially in 45 minutes. So the options for doing your answers. So again, you can either type them or write them. The first ones that we're going to talk about is if you type them. The first option, option 1, is where you do copy and paste of your response. This is what I highly recommend because it is the easiest. You don't have to worry about making sure that you are saving anything as the right kind of document or anything like that. Have the document prepared in advance with your AP ID and your initials, though, and make sure that you are ready to go for that document. Your timer is going to say that you have 50 minutes. That means you have 45 minutes to work and 5 minutes to submit your response. Yes, it's not going to take you 5 minutes to copy and paste your response. So you can work a little bit into that 5 minutes if you are brave enough. But that at that 5-minute mark, you should finish up what you are doing and copy and paste and then hit the submit button. Do not take this down to the wire, because if something happens and you don't hit submit, then your exam is not going to count. So you want to make sure that you are working in your Google Doc, let's say, finish up your thought when you hit that 45-minute mark, and then copy everything and paste it into your exam. And we'll show you what that looks like here in a second. The second option is for you to, again, type out your answer, but this time attach it. And again, if you're going to attach it, it needs to be in the .doc, .docx, .pdf, .odt, one of those versions. Again, prepare your sheet ahead of time, or prepare your answer page ahead of time with your AP ID and your initials. Make sure that you are saving often, because in this case, you're probably using a Word document. And again, you're going to have 50 minutes, but at the 45-minute time frame with only 5 minutes left, you should make sure that you have saved everything, and then attach. You're going to need to hit the attach button, find your file, and then hit submit. So this is what you should do if you're not going to do the copy and paste method. And then the third option is if you are going to handwrite out something or attach photos. So again, prepare those pages in advance with your AP ID number, your initials, and your page number. You can only do 1 page per photo. So if you're going to take a photo of your work, you can only take a photo of 1 page of work at a time. Don't try to get 2 pages in there. They won't accept that. So take a picture of 1 page at a time, and make sure that it's nice and clear when you are doing that. And then you'll attach all your pages. If this is the method you plan on doing, you probably want to make sure that you have practiced this a few times, just with like fake documents, so that you've practiced how are you going to submit those photos and get them uploaded so that you can attach the pictures. Some of the acceptable files are .png, .jpg, .jpeg. So you just want to make sure that you've practiced that a few times again so that you can upload them properly. Or if you're going to open up you'll probably maybe even want to think about opening up your e-ticket on your phone then so that you can upload those pictures. But again, make sure that they are in the acceptable file formats. And only do that if you absolutely have to. If you're doing maybe chemistry or some of the math ones, that's probably why you would maybe want to take a picture. So just think about those, practice those a little bit to get familiar with it. The exam day checklist. Again, this is in the mail. It should be on the way to your house, hopefully. I addressed all like 700 and we got the postage put on them. And so they should be in the mail as we speak. If for some reason you don't get a checklist, you can go to cb.org/AP checklist and download one, or if you need extras or whatever, they are there. You definitely want to make sure that you fill out your 8-character AP ID code on the top of that so that you always have that available for whatever might happen. And then I would work my way through and just make sure you have everything done on this checklist before your exam. And some of it is specific to some exams, so you can ignore the stuff on there, like about music theory if you're not going to take the music theory exam. But you definitely want to make sure that you have this available on the day of your exam and that you've worked through it and that you have everything ready to go. These are just some things that you might need on exam day. And so this will walk you through all of your particular subjects. If there was a document that said that you should have in order to take the exam, I sent that document in the mail along with that AP checklist or the exam day checklist. So you should have everything that you need coming to you in the mail. And again, if you don't, go back to that AP exam checklist and there will be a place where it'll say like exam day docs and you can go ahead and download it and get them that way too. So for example, under computer science A here, it said that it's required that you have the Java quick reference. So everyone who's taking a computer science A exam, I made sure that they had that Java quick reference. Even though you probably have it, I just sent it home to make sure. And again, kind of keep going through. So chemistry, you all got a periodic table. You got an equations sheet, and I also gave you a keyboarding tip sheet. So you have all of those for your exam. So speaking of resources, some of the other resources that you should have out are your notes. Any and all notes, your textbook, any of those things are allowed to have out during your exam. It's an open book, open note exam. However, you cannot be sharing resources with anyone else. So if you have a document that was made for the class where you guys have shared some class notes, what you need to do is make a copy of that document and download it and save it under your own stuff. I don't know. That's just what we've been told, is to make sure that no one is kind of sharing resources that way. And so that's definitely something that you want to make sure that you have done, is make a copy of whatever those class notes are and save your own version of that so that it's not a shared document. You definitely want to make sure that you are not copying and pasting, and you definitely want to make sure that you're not just pulling stuff off of the internet. You're welcome to go to the internet, but you're not going to probably have enough time to truly use the internet to get an answer, nor would I necessarily trust anything on the internet. And they will potentially catch you for plagiarism if you're using stuff from the internet. The other thing is, do not communicate with others. Don't ask other people for help during this time. If you are in the middle of taking the AP Chem exam and your parent is a chem teacher, do not ask them for help. And obviously they shouldn't help you, but don't put them in the position of even asking them for help. All right, so that's everything that you can do before the exam. Make sure your technology works. Make sure that it's all plugged in and ready to go. Make sure that you've tried the demo, that you've gone through the exam checklist, that you have your questions page set up and ready to go, all that stuff. Now, on the day of the exam, here we go. First and foremost is your testing environment. Remind people that you're testing and that They should not be trying to reach out to you. They should not be calling. They shouldn't be sending you Snapchats or whatever it is. Make sure that you have a quiet location. Try to separate yourself out from everyone else in your family if possible. Enable the do not disturb or the quiet settings on all of your devices. And if you need to, ask your parents or family members to do the same so that you don't hear lots of ringing and stuff like that in the background. If possible, ask people to maybe go take a walk or whatever if it's nice out so that you have a very quiet place to work. The other thing is that you want to stop any high bandwidth activities. So playing things like video games, like Fortnite, or any kind of streaming services like Netflix and that kind of stuff. You don't want those running because that's going to pull your bandwidth and it could potentially slow down stuff for you. And so we want to make sure that you have the best testing environment. So just ask people not to use Netflix or do any kind of gaming stuff while you're taking your exam so that you can kind of have everything in your control for those 75 minutes or so. Big things though, the do not disturb and quiet settings on your devices, particularly your phone and all that kind of stuff. On the exam day, you are going to check in 30 minutes before the actual start time of your exam. Remember that your exam time is listed in Eastern and you need to convert that to Central. So bump that up an hour. So if, remember that we are testing at 11 a.m., 1 p.m., and 3 p.m. in Central Time Zone. Do not screw that up. They will not be forgiving of you, and they will not just let you jump into the test. You have to make sure that you have the right time. So if you need to check, let me know. Then log in 30 minutes before that starts so that you can answer a bunch of the security questions. So you're going to go to your e-ticket, click on the go to exam, and you'll answer some security questions. And then you'll probably have to sit there for a little bit. It'll give you a countdown until the time of the exam. Don't refresh your browser. Don't do anything during that time. Just wait, and then all of a sudden the exam will start and you can jump in. The exam is 45 minutes. It's going to give you 50 minutes on the timer. That's because it's including these 5 minutes where you need to submit your exam. So depending on if you're doing the English and history exams, you're going to have a straight 45 minutes to do the exams, 5 minutes to submit your answers. If you are doing any of the other exams, you'll have 25 minutes to do question 1, 5 minutes to submit your answer. And then you're going to have to wait for that time. And then it'll prompt into question number 2. And you'll have 15 minutes to do question 2 and 5 minutes to submit your answer and hit just hit the submit button so that you're done. If you submit early, it's probably going to make you wait out. So if you only take 20 minutes to do your exam and for the first question, it's going to make you sit there and wait until the start of the second exam. They make them all start at the exact same time. So you might as well take up that whole time. Otherwise, you're just going to sit there twiddling your thumbs. The other thing is if for some reason at the end of your exams, if you do not get a confirmation message, then we need to submit a makeup exam. The other thing that I did want to say is you may submit for question 1 and it might continue uploading in the background. That's fine. Move on to question 2 when it tells you to. It'll continue depending on your bandwidth. It might take a little while for that answer to upload. That's fine. Don't worry about that. All right? As long as you hit submit in the regular time frame, you'll be fine, even if it takes a long time with your bandwidth to upload it. All right? All right, so the check-in, 30 minutes before, you will need to check into your exam. So it'll say enter your AP ID and then hit continue. And then you'll answer all of your security questions. It will give you this time in the bottom kind of right-hand corner probably of a clock that'll just tell you kind of the countdown to when your exam will start. So just kind of sit there and wait it out. Don't jump in too late. I don't know all of the security things that are going to be required, so I don't know how long it'll take you to do that. So make sure that you are there 30 minutes early. Exam security, just a couple of things. I don't know all of their security measures, but I do know that you should not incorporate any work which is not your own. They are kind of keeping some things confidential in order to maximize their effectiveness, but I do know that they are working on some plagiarism things, anything that is kind of out on the internet. They are definitely monitoring all of that kind of stuff. So know that all of that will be uploaded. They're also going to share all of the answers directly with your teachers. And so if you submit a response that is like nothing your teacher has ever seen you do, that's probably going to be an indicator. And then if you're found violating any of the exam security, you'll face some pretty severe consequences. Your names will be reported to all college admissions offices for attempted cheating, which means you're not going to get into that college. And obviously your AP exam scores will be canceled. You can look at more for report cheating at collegeboard.org /report cheating if you want to, but just don't cheat and we don't have to worry about anything. When you are answering your exams, just a couple of things is that the exams are going to be divided into parts. You need to label in alphabetical order all of those parts. So answer A, B, C, D, whatever it is. Don't answer A and then C and then B. Make sure that they are in alphabetical order. So answer A, move on to B. If you can't answer B and you can answer C, leave a spot where B should be and move on to C, and then come back in later and fill in for B. We already talked about you can't move on to the second question until the time for the first question has fully elapsed. So we've already talked about that, so I won't say any more. For time management, again, the clock is going to give you 50 minutes. So it'll count down, and then at that 5 minutes remaining mark, it'll turn over to red and it'll say you need time left to submit your work. So you need to make sure that you submit your work at that point. If you are going to be typing in, let's say, Google Docs, and so you're not necessarily going to have this timer up and easily visible, set a timer on your phone so that you don't miss that 5 minute mark. Because if you hit the submit button late, it's not going to take your answer, and there is no like makeup request for submitting your work late. So just make sure that you are keeping an eye on the time. So feel free to set your own timer on your phone or whatever, and just monitor that time. When you're submitting your response, a couple of things. If you are going to go with copy and paste, you'll just copy from your Google Doc and then just paste your work right where it tells you to, and then hit submit. If you are going to attach a file, then you'll go for browse for a file. Find it wherever it's at on your computer, hit submit, or upload some photos. Again, making sure that they are in the correct file format. You can't just upload a Google Doc. It's not going to allow you to do that. So you have to make sure that you are saving it in the proper format again before you hit submit. One of the things is if you never see your AP exam is complete message, you need to go to the cb.org /request makeup to explain the situation and request an e-ticket for the June makeup date. If you do not get confirmation of your exam after you hit submit, then they don't have your exam. So you want to go to the request makeup and put in for a new exam. Yes, that is super sucky. However, there's nothing that I can say to make that better. I can't fight it for you. You're just going to have to redo it. It's also very important why you need to make sure that you are saving your work and doing all of those kinds of things so that we can always go back and if something were to happen, if your browser were to close or whatever. We just want to make sure that we have everything. But again, if you do not get that confirmation of your AP exam is complete, then you need to fill in the cb.org/request makeup. What if something goes wrong? First and foremost, if something goes wrong, something goes wrong. Don't freak out about it. Take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. Things go wrong all the time. And so we just have to do the request makeup and go ahead and take that June exam. So you might close the browser. Your computer might crash. There might be a power outage. You might have some crappy internet service that day. That is okay. Don't stress out about it. We'll just put in for the cb.org/request makeup. They are understanding of the fact that these things are going to happen. All right. 5% of all exams taken under normal situations have things that go wrong. So they expect at least 5% of things to go wrong while you're taking exams at home, if not more, because you are taking them at home and there are lots of things that are beyond your control. All right. So again, if you feel that something has very much impacted your ability to take your exam, you want to fill out the cb.org/request makeup. Finish the exam. Let me say that first and foremost is finish that exam. Go through the rest of the exam, finish it, and then you can go back in and do the cb.org/request makeup. So if your little brother or sister falls down and is crying for 20 minutes of your exam and you can't concentrate, try to finish that exam, go in then and do the request makeup. If your internet crashes and you can't get it logged back in a timely manner, go to the cb.org/request makeup. So finish the exam and then go in and do the request makeup. Make sure that you don't refresh your browser or hit the back arrow during the exam. That's just kind of a tip that they have in order to make sure that that you don't kind of mess things up. We already gave you the cb.org. It needs to happen within 48 hours. If you don't do that within 48 hours, there's nothing I can do to help you. And then you should reach out to me so that if it's an internet issue, we can help you with that. If it's a quiet issue, I'm happy to talk to families or try to find a quiet place for you to test or something. So just let me know so that we can problem solve together so that you're not alone in trying to deal with this. Not finishing on time is not an excuse to request a makeup. So if you work into that 5-minute time frame and you cut it too close and you don't hit submit in time, that's on you. That is not an excuse for a request makeup. I just want to make sure that everyone is clear on that. So make sure that when you are doing the countdown of 50 minutes, those last 5 minutes are actually for you to hit submit. So don't work up to the end of 50 minutes and then think you have time to submit. You have 45 minutes to take the exam, 5 minutes to submit. Or depending on your question time frame, you have 25 minutes to do question 1, 5 minutes to hit submit, 15 minutes to do question 2, 5 minutes to hit submit. So you need to make sure that you are working that full time, okay? And then paying attention. When that 5 minutes is up, that's when you need to wrap up really quickly and get your test submitted. And then take a deep breath because your test is submitted. All right, for your results, you'll get them in July just like you always do, but you're going to get them 1 week later than what we normally have them sent out to you at. And that's because we're testing 1 week later. And so you won't get your results until the week of like July 15th or so, right around there. If you need to send your score, you can sign into the My AP account no later than March 20th and indicate which college or university should get your scores. And then anything after June 20th will cost you $15 for each score report sent. and then $25 if it needs rush processing. So just get that taken care of. Go into your My AP account and indicate where you want your scores sent or scores sent. And again, nothing will come out before July 15th. So go and enjoy summer. And then right around July 15th, you'll have to log into your My AP account to get those scores, or they'll send them to that email address. So we won't reach out to you and tell you your scores. That will be on you to get them. So either through the My AP account or through whatever email is associated with your My AP account. All right. So basically, good luck to all of you. If you are taking a world languages exam, if you are taking a music theory exam, or if you have accommodations, I am going to continue on with this video for you. For everyone else, good luck on your test. Make sure you're reaching out if you have questions. Email me at mlboson@sunprairieschools.org. All right, those of you that are doing world language, music theory, or have accommodations, these last few slides are for you. So music theory, you need to make sure you have a smartphone or tablet. I have sent you the music theory answer sheet pages, so you'll have a couple extra pages of that just in case you make a mistake. So you'll have those answer sheets where you can to write out your music on. And then you also need to make sure that you have an audio recording app or audio recording software. Things like Recorder, Voice Memos, GarageBand, Audacity, something where you can do your sight singing performance. So just make sure that you have that downloaded for some kind of audio recording app downloaded. On your exam day, question 1 will go on the answer sheet, and then question 2 is going to be that audio file. And you'll need to save that as .m4a, .mp3, .wave, .ogg, and then attach that file. So you definitely want to practice doing that kind of singing and then saving that file and uploading it. So just make sure that you are paying attention to that. You can also check out cb.org/AP Music Theory for more information. And just to give you an idea of your testing day, so it'll be 30 minutes before you log in like everybody else. 25 minutes will be where question 1 is, and you will be writing out your answers on the paper answer sheet, taking a photo and uploading that photo. And then question 2 will be 15 minutes long, where you will read the question and then record sight singing responses as an audio file, one audio file, and then upload that one audio file. You are welcome to practice with like a piano or whatever. But when you go to record it, make sure that you take out that piano and all those kinds of other noises there. World languages. You again need to have either some kind of smartphone or tablet. This cannot be taken on a laptop or a desktop computer. And on May 11th, they will release your AP World Languages exam app. And so you just need to go to the App Store and get that. It's free, but you need to go to the App Store and get that and practice with it before the day of the exam, just in case anything goes wrong. Again, making sure if you're using your phone, I would have it plugged in or make sure that it's fully charged. You need to make sure that you have closed this app on your device before you actually click the e-ticket. So if you're practicing with the app, make sure that you close it out on your device and then go to your e-ticket and open up your e-ticket. And for you, again, you'll log in 30 minutes before your start time. Your test is actually shorter than everyone else's. You will have 2 tasks, basically. So number 1, task 1 will be a conversation where you'll get some directions and a conversation introduction. And then after a 1-minute prep period, you'll respond as instructed. And so it'll give you a tone, and then you'll speak at the tone. On task 2, you're going to listen to the directions and presentation topic. It'll give you 4 minutes to kind of prep for that, and then you'll deliver your presentation at the tone. You'll check your recordings and hit submit. Like I said, yours is going to be less than 30 minutes, so yours will go a little bit quicker than everyone else's. All right. If you have accommodations, you will be allowed those accommodations. The majority of our accommodations are for extended time. And so what they'll do is they will just add that extended time onto the little timer that pops up when you go to take your exam. So it will automatically be there. You don't have to do anything for it. The only exam accommodations that they're not really giving are the ones for extra breaks due to the shortened time of the exam. So when you're only testing for 45 minutes, they assume that you don't really need that break in there. And so they're not giving those extra breaks and stuff like that for the exam. However, if in the middle of it, you do need to stop and test your blood sugar and you feel like that impacts the results of your exam, then we can put in for a makeup request time. So we do know that some of that will happen. If you have any questions about your exams or about your accommodations for your exams, please email me at mlboson@someprairieschools.org. All right, that's it.